On this week's Tuesday Talk, we are discussing our moving day routines and our checklists.
From Snow Canyon State Park in Utah.
So we've had a few people ask about our checklists, which we will be giving away. They're just linked in the description below.
Oh, a giveaway.
Giveaway, yeah. This one's for
Of
everybody.
a different kind.
They're just checklists we made for ourselves, so some of the things on there are not going to be applicable to you, but you can see what we look at when on our moving day, both leaving and arriving.
Yeah, that's a good baseline. Things you don't need you can remove, and things you do need that we don't do, go ahead and add them.
Yeah.
It's just an Excel spreadsheet, so it should be easy to modify to your needs.
Yes.
So we separate things out when we move. She takes care of the inside chores. I take care of the outside chores. I'm not sure which one has it worse, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm exposed to the elements, but she also has to deal with making sure all the windows are closed, all the drawers are latched, and it's a lot of really meticulous stuff that you have to go through every single time.
It's not that bad. If you get into a routine, it's not that bad. And in the beginning, that's why we had the checklist, because we didn't have a routine, and I wanted to make sure we didn't forget something. And even still, I would find things like, make sure to turn off the water pump. I kept forgetting, and finally I wrote it on the checklist, and now we're good. But we're morning people, so our favorite moves are moves in the morning where we can get up, have some breakfast, already be somewhat packed up, finish packing up, get on the road, and get to wherever we're going by lunchtime. So
Yep.
that we can...
So we have the whole rest of the day.
Yeah.
And in case something goes wrong on the way, dark isn't in a couple hours, we have the entire rest of the day to figure things out.
Yeah, especially with BLM and boondocking, if we show up and there aren't any spots or we don't like the feel of the place,
Yeah.
we have our backup plans and we have time to get to them before it gets dark. So that's our preferred method of time of day to move, which means the night before we actually do. I don't do that much prep the night before. Steve does a lot more prep the night before if he can.
Yeah, like cleaning out the outside of the Airstream, just the immediate area around it, like putting the grill away and the table that the grill sits on and our rocking chairs that we're sitting in right now. Really everything that's been sitting out or that's attached to the Airstream, like the dog's leads, all that stuff goes away. So we don't have that much to do the next day. Things are pretty clean and already ready to go, at least from an outdoor perspective.
Yeah. And then when I start putting stuff away in the inside, I start in the bedroom and I work my way forward. And if I have the time, I will also clean while doing it. And that way, everything but the floors. So we'll clean all the counters and everything like that as I'm putting everything away and clearing them off. And that way, when we arrive at our new destination, everything but the floors are clean. It's really easy for Steve to come through and me to clean the floors once we're all set up. And now we have a really clean Airstream in our new spot.
That's right.
So in general, we have our checklist split up into indoors and outdoors, like Steve said. The outdoor ones has a lot more on it because there's a lot more steps in hitching up and everything like that we want to make sure we don't forget. And so we've split the outdoor checklist into leaving, arriving, and the safety. And so the leaving, there's a big section. I think there's 3 sections. There's like night before stuff, morning of,
yeah.
And then hitching up. So Steve can do everything up to the hitching up part by himself.
And usually do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even consult the checklist while I'm doing it because I've done it so much.
Yeah.
But before we leave, we always go through line by line, even if we think we know it by heart. Because we only need to make a mistake once. And if a stabilizer jack is left down and that gets ruined, that's a lot of money out of our pockets.
Yeah. Which is why we have backup plans, too.
Yeah.
So Steve has his stuff that he goes through, and then he waits for me to finish the inside so that then we can do the hitching up part of the leaving checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Once that's all done, then I do my safety check. And so that's a separate tab on the outdoor checklist. And that is me going around on the outside of the Airstream and making sure everything's been done, double checking that he did everything, just to be sure.
We call her the safety officer, and that is a very, very important decision because she's the one who's saving us money and saving us hassle if I forget something, or if I forget to do something on the outside, like put down the cell booster, or put up one of our stabilizer jacks, or latching the windows or the oven vent. If any of that is left unchecked and something goes wrong while we're moving 60 miles an hour, that's a huge deal.
Yeah. So we got this idea about the safety officer and the walkabout from Steve's parents. They did it for the entire time they were full-timing, over a decade.
And my mom was the safety officer.
Mm-hmm. It's really good to have the person who didn't do most of it be the safety officer, because you're less likely to be like, oh, I did that, and not look at it.
And the one who's a little bit more anal than the other. Because sometimes I will let things slide or assume that I did them, but you are way too anal for that. So you need to be the safety officer.
I check everything that's on that list, and that's why it's on the list. So we know all the pins are in, we know everything is the way it should be, so we can hit the road. And then once we get to our new destination, we do have an arriving checklist.
We just flip basically what we did originally.
Yeah, but we do have one written up in a little bit less detail, mostly with the unhitching, so we knew what order we were doing things in, and there's little tips for our specific unhitching process that we wrote on that checklist as well. So we step back up, we unhitch. That takes both of us. Once the truck has been pulled away and we're totally unhitched, then I will open up the Airstream, get the dogs in, and start doing inside stuff while Steve finishes up everything on the outside.
That's right.
And then we're good to go in our new location.
Yeah, some of our videos in the past, you've seen glimpses of that. Especially the one where we were leaving Snow Canyon. We were doing all that in the sandblast wind that we were experiencing that after.
Which I think
that was fun. I
think that's the video that would have come out yesterday. So you should have just seen that. So this is good timing. So that's it. We wanted to give a little talk about our moving routine and our checklist. Like I said, links to our checklist below. Check them out and feel free to modify them to your heart's content for your guys' moving day.
That's right.
And that's it for this week. So this came directly. We had a bunch of people asking about it. So if you have another question for us regarding Airstream life, travel, places we're going, things like that, please leave them in the comments below, because we're looking for more Tuesday Talk questions.
And we got the time.
Yes, we do.
And the motivation, so we will film anything you guys want.
Yeah.
Within reason, of course.
And I think that's it for this week.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, as always, like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already.
Even if you did like it, go ahead and give us a thumbs up anyway.
I know that might be pushing it. And
Maybe.
We will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.